Hello YouTube and welcome back into another Dare to Game video. Today we're doing another fan requested armor guide, this one being for a medium mercenary, and I was thinking, Bronn, like from Game of Thrones, especially in the first couple seasons, armor guide. So, that's kind of the inspiration I'm taking from this one, because I wanted to do more where I try to recreate suits of armor from other stuff, and people have made a lot of requests for Game of Thrones stuff. So we're going to try recreating Bronn's suit of armor from the first couple seasons of Game of Thrones. And this was requested by Karina Smirnov. So thanks for the request. Not a great suit of armor. If you saw my Aragorn video at the Battle of Helm's Deep, it's going to be very similar to that. Not in appearance, but in performance. And if you haven't seen it, I definitely invite you to go check it out because it's a cool one. Without any further ado, let's just jump right into it and start with weapons. So for weapons, we start with a dagger because A, we know that Bronn has a dagger. We see it all the time. And B, everybody needs a dagger. So then we went with the Vomberg sword. And now it doesn't look exactly like a sword. It looks similar-ish, especially if you don't look super close. But it's also a very good arming sword. And we know he uses an arming sword, so it seemed like the one to go. The exact arming sword that he uses, there's a mod that adds it to the game, but I don't have that mod, and I'm pretty sure last time I checked it wasn't compatible anymore. So if you really wanted to go for it, you could try using that one, but out of the vanilla swords, I thought this one was the best balance of being a good sword and looking similar to it. I also considered the razor, because if you read the books, several times Catelyn Stark remarks about how sharp he keeps his sword, the edge being as sharp as a razor. Now, that's not... I don't like it when people describe swords or other weapons as being razor sharp, because the edge of a razor is incredibly sharp, but also very brittle and thin, and so it's not a good comparison to a sword or an axe. If you had your sword razor sharp, actually had the edge of it as thin and sharpened in the manner of a razor, it would be a terrible weapon, unless you were fighting unarmed opponents and you never hit their bone. Because it would go dull, you'd chip it, it would break, it wouldn't be great. But anyway, I digress. The Vomberg sword is the sword we went with here. So let's check out the clothing. So for clothing, I A, tried to make it look like what he's wearing, and B, made it fit lore-wise. So I gave him a simple neck chain and a copper ring. I believe at one point in the show, I remember seeing him fiddling with a ring, so we know he's wearing one. And given that he doesn't have very good armor or much money, I figured it'd be cheap, so we went with cheap stuff. Then I went with the tight black hose because he wears dark pants most of the time, although it does change. Riding boots because those look pretty similar to the boots he wears in the show. And a light tarred jacket because that looks a lot like the shirt he wears in the show. So that is what we went with for clothing. Let's add what little armor he has on and see what it looks like all together. Alright, so for armor, there's a bit of contention here because I added the long noble hauberk, A, because he needed some protection, and this is the best hauberk in the game for protection, and B, because I'm pretty certain I remember, maybe I'm just transposing what I read in the books, I remember at some point Bronn wearing mail. Maybe it was just a description from the books that that's all he was wearing during the duel with Sir Vardis Egan in the area, and maybe he never did in the show, but I remember that from somewhere. And just lore-wise, you'd think he would be wearing it. And then I did my best to imitate the type of cuirass, or whatever you want to call it, the torso armor he wears in the show. It doesn't fit perfectly, but it looks very similar, so I would guess that he's wearing some type of light lamellar armor in the show. Now, the shoulder area is a little different. In the show, it's full coverage from his... there's a very small hole for his head, and it goes down all the way to, like, the edge of his shoulders. So it looks a little bit different, but honestly, this looks pretty close. He doesn't seem to wear any gloves or gauntlets, no leg armor, no helmet, which I hate. Very, very lightly armored. As far as stats go, we have a value of 3,814.5 groschen, making it even cheaper than the suit of armor that Aragorn was wearing, mostly because, most of that is coming from the sword again, much like Aragorn's, but this sword is cheaper than that one. So that explains some of it, and also he doesn't have very fancy jewelry because he's a poor mercenary. Total AAR, or average armor rating, of 23.5. So again, one of the lowest armor rating suits of armor I've ever put together. So very, very low level. And then a total weight of 44.4 pounds. So pretty dang light. Not what I would call something you wouldn't even notice you were wearing. Now most of that weight comes from, again, your torso armor, which is the only spot of his body that's armored, but still pretty light. Before we get into the combat, because we'll go test this out on some bad guys, before we get into that, I just want to say it's a pet peeve of mine in media how A, nobody ever wears helmets, if you could afford any type of armor at all, let's say you're a mercenary or you're a hedge knight or something or whatever, you don't have much money, but you can afford some armor, you would put a helmet on first. That's the first piece of armor you would get because A, it's one of the most exposed areas of your body because you need to be able to see things, so you can't hide it behind something if you want to try fighting. You could get yourself a nice big shield and protect most of your body. Like, let's say you're using a Norse-looking round shield, you know, one of them great big shields that covers a good portion of your body. You could get away with having less armor in some areas because that could protect you as long as you were holding it and, you know, had it protecting you. But your head needs its own protection, so the first thing you would do is get head protection. Then probably torso stuff. Then a lot of people would get hand stuff because obviously your hands get exposed relatively easily. Most battlefield wounds from hand-to-hand combat are hand wounds. So, you know, that's all obvious stuff. Cavalry wear a lot of leg armor because their legs are very, very exposed. But anyway, that's my big pet peeve. I just wanted to say that if you were a mercenary and you didn't have much money or whatever, you were going to make your living fighting and you didn't have enough money for a full suit of armor, you would wear a helmet. You would forego the torso protection for a helmet, and then you would just use a shield. Also, if you're using an arming shield, an arming sword, there's no reason not to use a shield. If you're trained, you actually know what you're doing, a shield is only going to benefit you. Not having one doesn't make you that much quicker or more nimble or whatever that the excuse that a lot of people use for not wanting to use a shield. But having one makes you a lot safer. But anyway, enough ranting. Let's test out this suit of armor in combat. Alright, we're getting close. So, we're going to try being a little bit more sneaky than we did with the Aragorn build. Because if you watched that one, you remember it did not go super well. Because this camp that we're attacking is a decent, it's a decent camp. They've got, I don't know, there's like 5 or 6 humans. They're pretty heavily armed. There's at least one attack dog. It's not a good situation. So we're gonna try sneaking up and maybe in Bronn fashion taking one or more out with a stealth attack. So.
Hey,
Alright, well, we weren't able to sneak up and assassinate him, but we were able to quickly kill him with a nice placed jab. So let's see if we can keep up our luck. I'm somehow doubting we're going to be able to... I don't like the running system in this game. If I was going to make a complaint about something, that would be it. Bronn. No, let me move. Stupid dog. Hey, we took out another puppy chow guy. Oh my god! We might actually get through this by jabbing. The Von Berg sword is a pretty decent sword. Some more stamina. Stupid axe. Oh, and of course they've got archers, so... Oh my god! Thank you, archer buddy! No freaking way. As long as this guy doesn't kill me. No friggin' way. We did it, boys. Bronn survived where Aragorn couldn't. Well, most of that was probably luck. But, let's check out the suit of armor. Well, we're a little bit scuffed up. We've got some blood on our head, our armor ain't looking great, our sword is covered in blood, and we're dying. But we managed to do it. We wiped out the whole camp. Wow. I'm excited. I didn't think we were going to make it. But that was my medium mercenary suit of armor requested by Karina Smirnov. I went this direction with it. I decided to recreate a movie suit. This is Bronn from Game of Thrones, the series, not the books. Well, but I took a little bit of inspiration from the books. But in any case, I hope you liked this video. If you did, let me know. If you've got any other requests, let me know about them. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.